Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you.
This one was so easy. So I found this little hexagon shaped box. It's kind of like a geode background. And as you can see, it's not put together well, but that is going to be easier for us, right? So I'm just popping the back of it off. And we're going to get this cool frame that's like kind of large enough to kind of sit on its side. And this is the back of it. Now, I don't really want to cover that crazy design up with my burlap. I think you might be able to see it through. So it's going to need to be the back. So I'm just going to take some cheap wood contact paper from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to cover that up so that it'll have a nice finished back. And then I just use sandpaper to go around all of the edges, and it's going to give you a quick, easy cut. Now we can decorate this backside, which was just the plain brown. It's going to work way better with the burlap. And for this one, since we're doing like that hexagon shape, the honeycomb, I thought it would be perfect to use some more of this burlap. I think it's so pretty. I am loving all of the burlap from Dollar Tree. Is so fun. And I used to have to go to, Walmart to get plain burlap, but not only do they have the plain burlap in the brown and the white, they also have all these fabulous prints. So I just kind of sketched that out on the back of my burlap, and so I'll know exactly where to cut this out. And we're just going to cover the back of the sign with this fabric, and then we can decorate it even more. This was a really easy one to put together, but it turned out so cute. So that looks pretty good, and we are ready to Mod Podge. Whenever I Mod Podge burlap, I do a heavy coat because I really kind of want it to seep through that burlap and help it seal on. And I'm also trying to line up the edges. I don't really want any of that fabric to stick out once we reattach the frame. I'm going to go over the top of it with Mod Podge as well to make sure it is good and sealed. Now, before you do your next step on this one, you're going to want to kind of dry that, let that set up a little bit so that your next item is going to stick. I also do a quick trim to make sure no fabric is coming over the edges. Now we can reattach the front of this. It came off really clean, only like maybe a couple tiny pieces of paper that I had to pick off of that. But we're just going to attach that with hot glue. The hot glue is going to kind of seep down into the burlap and glue this back to the base on the back. And whenever I can pop the frame off these Dollar Tree items before I cover them with fabric or a texture on the back, it's so good when they come apart easily like that because you can kind of just pop them all back together. It's going to look a little bit more professional, I think, in the end because I get a perfect cut and it's all sealed in there. No fraying or anything on this one. Now, this is what we're going to put in there. Look at this little bee gnome from Dollar Tree. He is so perfect. Instead of like the bee stripes on the little gnome hat, this little guy has like a polka dot pattern, but still super cute. And I thought he would fit perfectly in here. Isn't that cute? Like he fits right inside the edge. So I'm going to glue it to the bottom. Also gluing it to the honeycomb fabric. And I don't think he needs anything else with his design. He's got little wings. So cute. Now, I did think that, the frame is that kind of unfinished wood just here on the front edges. And I like to try to paint that if I can, make it look a little bit better. So I'm just using bright yellow and a makeup sponge from Dollar Tree and sponging that on. Now, since it is like a kind of a MDF kind of wood, it really soaks up the paint. So as you can see, it kind of fades right in. So I'm just going to go over all of the edges just a couple of times until it brightens it up and really kind of makes that pop. And just a fun detail. Now, I think I'm going to use this as kind of like a shelf sitter in my home. So it doesn't really need a hanger or anything on it, but I thought we could use some real flour to kind of make his flower look even cooler, kind of give him that 3D vibe. So these are the little yellow wildflowers. Now I'm cutting off the stem. I thought maybe I could try gluing it on here. Usually when you cut the stem off like that, the flower kind of wants to fall apart a little bit, which is what I was finding on this one, but that's okay. I kind of want to add another layer anyway. So I'm just going to pop another one on there and kind of like stagger them to completely cover up the flower on the back. The only thing now is I kind of need a centerpiece to that. And I just wanted something subtle, and one of these little velvet thumbtacks from the Dollar Tree I think is going to be perfect because I can actually literally just push it in there. It's just the right size for the middle of the flower. It's just going to add another little texture and touch, and so it is a little hard to push in the wood, so I just use a hammer and nail that in. Isn't he so cute? I love him. He reminds me of the bee gnome I made in my previous bee tier tray video because it was a little bee gnome that had the wings and all. And he's even got like a little, sign in his hand that says bee. Super cute. Love all the textures with that honeycomb background as well. And of course, it's in like a honeycomb shape.